This is No Expectations, the podcast where we have unedited, lively conversations about spirituality, Zen Buddhism, holistic living, and everything in between. My name is Andrew. I'm a lifelong Zen Bodhisattva. It sounds much more fancy than it really is. A part-time tracksuit tailor and an author. This is my buddy, Jen.
What's up? I'm Jen. I love a good cup of coffee, a long walk in the woods at a comfortable, moderate pace. And I love having these conversations about kind of living life with no expectations. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Hey, Jen, how are you?
Oh, no. The roles are reversed today.
I know. You always start I always start the conversation.
I know.
So I guess you have a lot to talk about then.
I don't have a lot. I have a little bit.
Okay.
We could take this as deep as we want to get it, or we can keep it high level.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay.
No expectations.
No expectations.
What you got?
What's the purpose of life? That's a loaded question.
The purpose of life? Oh, you want me to answer that?
No. So, I went to a meditation clinic, a meditate with a monk event this weekend, and it was great. It was interesting meditating in a large class type format, but the monk opened the floor up for questions, and no expectations. I was not expecting some of the questions that came out in this space. So one of them was a woman asking what's the purpose of her existence in life. And I was like, I got to ask Andrew about this.
Well, I think there's two. Well, really, what are we asking? What's the purpose of our existence, or what's the purpose of life? Because they're two different things in my mind.
Our existence.
What do you got? What are your thoughts? I mean, you're the one that went to the...
Yeah. I mean, as in that space, my first thought, I wanted to raise my hand. Like, I have a suggestion. But yeah, I wanted to hear the monk go on, talk about, everyone suffers. Suffering is inevitable in life. And the purpose of life is to understand where that suffering is coming from and to end it. To calm the mind and, to live in a more natural state without the anxieties of life. And and then I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't raise my hand because he didn't ask anyone's opinion. So
He didn't open the floor. He wasn't asking you.
He wasn't asking me.
Again, I think we have to differentiate existence and life.
Okay, so if I say, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of my existence? You hear those as two separate questions.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, our life is to be lived, right? And I know that's like, oh, how could you? I feel like I'm sandbagging you with that, right?
So generic. Okay.
Life is to be lived, but it's not as easy as it seems to say that, to go live your life. Because we do get bogged down in expectations in ourselves and other people put on us and all that stuff. We have had that conversation many times before.
Yeah.
Our life is to be lived, but just to create heaven here on earth while we exist, so as not to think about this being hell, not creating our own hell. So create our own heaven. Because when we shed this skin suit, so does our reality. And the world will keep spinning. The universe will keep moving.
Do you think our energy continues to exist?
So that's the differential, right?
Okay.
So the existence is our universal energy when we go back to the universal consciousness, if that's what you believe, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I think about existence, that while our life might be short here on earth, our existence, our energy continues on for eternity.
Yeah.
So we take this opportunity in this lifetime to create our heaven And that ideally would be, to do the work, to be compassion, to end suffering in others, all of those things that you just mentioned, so that we could, once we leave this mortal life and go back into the connections of all of the universe, that we're like sending up more positive energy. And then if we recycle ourselves and come back again, if that's the system that you believe in, that we come to a higher version of ourselves the next time around, and the next time around.
Or another way of looking at that is like your legacy of when you leave. Is it one that's good and, leaves the world a better place than the way you found it?
I don't know that we've really had a long conversation about karma, but we could at some point, and we probably should. Mm-hmm. But I think when we do this work that we talk about, to leave the world in a better place, we have to do it from a place of true heart. We can't do it from like, oh, I'm doing really great work, look at me. Because if no one notices my great work, like, this is important, because if you look how great I am, and if I'm not really great at this, like, this is how I'm going to get to the next phase. That's like, I'm not going to be, if you believe in rebirth, I'm not going to be reborn as a bug, because I've done a lot of great work here. Look at me. I got medals to prove it. I got plaques on the wall, all the great work I've done. So we have to do work that's true to us.
Yeah.
With an open heart.
An open heart, for sure. Yeah. It's hard to deconstruct the Christian upbringing I had, or, that everything I do on earth is for this great reward in heaven. And it's just, been a constant battle with what I was trained to learn and undoing my learnings, to know that, like you said, heaven is here on earth, and what I do every moment, it impacts the moment now, and not because I'm trying to earn this mansion in the skies, but because I want to make the space that I'm in now better.
And that space, it starts between your ears, and that's that you have to live with yourself for your entire life. And that's important, to create that heaven in your own mind. Going back to contentment, those things, sowing those seeds of that enlightenment inside your mind, so that you can be true to yourself, and then in doing so, true to everyone, all things around you, all living creatures. And we talked about this before, and before we hit record today, we laughed and said, yeah, we understand that what we do here is not for everyone. That people probably don't understand our take on spirituality.
Andrew and Jen are not for everyone. It's true.
That they don't understand our take on what we're talking about, right? Yeah. That a lot of people think that you got to be like, hey Jen, I just want to be like really calm and cool.
This is Delilah's nighttime voice.
Delilah. Hearts of Space. And we have this idea that, or I do, and I think you share this idea that, as we go on this journey, continue on a spiritual journey, like, it's about trying to continue to uncover the depth of our true nature. And our true nature doesn't always have to be soft whispers.
No.
It can be, kooky. It can be,
loud, boisterous.
It can be colorful. It can be profane. It can be all of those things, because it's coming from a place of pureness. Mm-hmm. That we're being vulnerable in that, that openness of ourselves, and saying, yeah, I don't have to wear the uniform of like the guru that talks in such hushed tones and be like, hey, I can be funny, and I can be witty, and I can be harsh, and I can be vulnerable, and I can be, all of these things that that we have in our human nature. And that's the purpose of connecting to ourselves at a deeper level. And, so I think differentiating the things between our life here on earth and our existence for eternity. Is that a better answer than what you received?
Yeah, it was a little bit more in depth.
I think you fell asleep there.
It was a little more in depth, yeah. For sure. I mean, I do want to. I think we should talk about karma in a future episode because that's an important kind of segue. Today's conversation is a good segue into karma and what we're doing here. But
I love it. So go out, live your best life here on earth. Love yourself. Love and tell all the people that are around you, and maybe you know and don't know, that you love and care about them too. I mean, keep it in.
Don't you just like keep it in your pants? Context. That's what
keep it in. I hadn't finished the sentence before you jumped in there with that. So just be careful who you're running around.
Share love.
Sharing
freely.
your love freely.
I get that.
Yeah. Okay. And focus on being now. See what happens now, not worry about what happens next.
Yeah. Being present is just always the key.
Yeah, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Good talk. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to No Expectations, the podcast. We invite you to come join us and carry on the conversation at noexpectations.me, our new website, where we will be posting blog posts. We will link all of our episodes there, and you can follow us on our social media sites through the website.